August the 25th, and it's 4 p.m. I appreciate my colleagues attending. Before we get started, Dr. Severe, will you take the roll?
Dr. Gentry? Ms. Spearing?
Here.
Ms. Spearing's present. Dr. Nabama-Kinney?
Here.
Dr. Nabama-Kinney's present. Ms. Buggs?
Present.
Buggs is present. Ms. Bush? Ms. Player-Peters?
Present.
Player-Peters is present. Ms. Cooper-Walker?
Present.
Ms. Cooper-Walker's present. Ms. Frogue?
Here.
Ms. Frogue's here. Ms. Bush, I think, did you connect?
I saw her.
I did too.
Okay.
And Ms. Elrod's here. Madam Chair, you have 7 present, and I'll mark others as they come in.
Okay, thank you. So we are meeting.
David.
Oh, maybe not for us. Maybe not
I
for us.
believe that's Ms. Bush.
Okay. We are meeting in accordance with the direction that we're allowed to be meeting virtually by Governor Lee due to the response to COVID-19. Today's meeting is going to be, I assume, very short. If you have lots of questions, which you are welcome to, then that's why we have made it at least an hour of time. I have not received any questions from any of my colleagues in advance, so I'm going to go ahead and get started with the agenda as you see on your screen. So first, it's a review of the process. And then we're going to go over the cited strategic framework that colleagues noted and did their notations of inside of their evaluations. Then we'll have a discussion of any individual evaluations or any comments that you might want to make on top of what you already said or something you may want to say in response. And then we'll adjourn. So, Jamal, can you pull up, thanks, Jamal. So I'm not going to read all of this to you, as I'm going to go with the assumption that we have all read it. But for everyone's knowledge that's calling in or viewing this, we are required to do an evaluation at least once on the director of schools on an annual basis. For us as a school board, we have what I like to say we do policies and procedures, not personnel and programs. And so one of our main responsibilities, one of our only true responsibilities besides the budget, is to do these evaluations on our director. Once again, no matter who they are. Now, we as a group have decided to do what are called formative and summative evaluations. And because Dr. Battle was an interim and then became permanent, and because she became permanent during a particularly turbulent time, because of the tornado and then the COVID-19 pandemic, we decided to continue, instead of doing a summative evaluation for the summer, as we typically do, to do a formative evaluation. So the following information that you can see, that is of course all public record, documents that process not only for the public, but for us as board members and for oncoming and future board members, which on to that note, I appreciate both Emily and Abigail being in attendance, though I know you can't speak, I know you're there. So as you can see below, these are the sitting board members, if you'll go up just a little bit, Jamal, that were active at the time of this evaluation. So District 4, there is nothing there for District 4 because Chair Anna Shepard had passed away. And then as you can see, the other members are listed there as they were on the board at that time. There's also not an evaluation for District 9. We'll keep going up. All right. This is a lengthy and detailed email that I sent to all of my colleagues as the chair of the evaluation committee about the process that we had agreed upon to make sure that it was thorough on what the expectations were, and then additional information like a timeline. So as I've already said, we decided to do a formative evaluation. The formative evaluation was still to be focused around our strategic framework, though most of us on the board as it currently is sitting, we have not voted on the strategic framework as that was from 2017. It is still supposed to be the guiding work of the school system. So we still are to refer to it and still let that kind of be our guidance on the decisions that we make and that leadership within MNPS makes. So if you'll continue to go up, Jamal. There is more of information here about what we've done in the past. So there was a comparison and once again, historical context of what this process has looked like. And then some more information about how we were managing this evaluation, what some people would call in-house. In the past, we have done a formative and summative evaluation, like I mentioned, but we've only done it once before. And when we did it before with the formative and the summative, that was managed not in-house. However, we decided to not do that anymore. We decided to take on those responsibilities ourselves. And so I appreciate Vice Chair Jill Spearing and of course, Dr. David Sevier for their assistance on us doing so. So as you can see here, bolded, these are the two questions that we decided to ask as the formative evaluation. These two questions are open-ended questions, which would allow my colleagues and of course myself to answer as thoroughly as they could. I requested 3 to 5 responses for each question, and that each response was of course supported with evidence for their responses. Frankly, any type of evaluation that's done without evidence is considered too subjective. So we wanted to be sure that people were referring back again to that strategic framework so that we could better course correct if needed, and of course be fair to the process. If you'll keep going up. Okay, so if you'll pause, I'm sorry, Jamal. Thank you. So as I said, all evaluations should be done in consideration with the self-evaluation that's also provided by Dr. Battle, and we'll talk about that here probably on the next page as we talk about that timeline that we were all given. If you'll go up again. Perfect. Thanks, Jamal. It's like Jamal knows where I'm going. You've got so good at this with the practice. So this is our schedule for the evaluation, or was our schedule for the evaluation. So there was Monday through July 20th through Monday, August 10th. Dr. Battle completed her evaluation, which was of the same exact 2 questions, and then she provided that to us. Then board members, we had our own time, of course, during that where we could answer our questions as well. But we were to keep our answers, we were to keep our answers also in touch point with what Dr. Battle has said about her own self-evaluation. So it should have been referenced to make sure there's an overlap of topic, we can refer to that. And of course, once again, if there's any course correction that needed to be made. Then once all of those were received, whether it was on Sunday, and of course some trickled in afterwards, those results were compiled, which we'll go through. And we went through and decided what the trends were based upon that cited strategic framework. You'll go up again. And then that brings us to today, to the review of this evaluation. So this last paragraph basically is saying what I hope happens in the future. I think a formative evaluation is very helpful, and it's a best practice within evaluation conversations. I'm sorry for the shadow I just noticed from the tree outside. But a formative evaluation is exceptionally helpful. Of course, summative is the most thorough evaluation we can provide. But a formative evaluation should continue to take place again. So we've done one now at what I'm calling the summer, or the 2020 summer formative evaluation. Another formative evaluation should take place hopefully in January as well. Therefore, we would have 2 formative evaluations, and then we'd be back on this regular schedule that we were trying to create of doing a summative evaluation next summer. My hope is that we will be able to have a board retreat as we typically would, or maybe hopefully in some virtual form where we can work together as a board and with Dr. Battle to go back and review that strategic framework and make sure that there's an understanding of what we think needs to continue to be in that strategic framework or what may need to be reviewed or discussed or changed. Before we go any further, are there any questions about any of the timeline or anyone's understanding of what that timeline was, anything like that?
Ms. Elrod. Hey, I think you said, if I understood you correctly, that there was not an evaluation for District 9, and I did send one in. So if it didn't make it to you, I will be happy to resend it.
Please do. Dr. Sevier nor I received it, and then I sent a follow-up email and a text. So I am sorry that we have not gotten it.
Okay. I didn't get the. I don't remember. I may have just missed the email. I don't remember the text. So I guess but I will send it right now. I'll go ahead and send it.
Okay.
I did it, and I did it on time. Just letting you know.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks.
Got it. So then we will recreate this document and then resend it out to everyone that's a sitting board member, and then of course make sure that Ms. Frogs is available. Amy, because we don't have yours, obviously, any cited strategic framework pieces that you have inside your evaluation, I don't know of. So if you will, please let us know if you have something outside of what we're about to discuss as the cited pieces of strategic framework. If you'll just speak up and say, actually, I had something that was outside of this or what have you. Okay. Thanks, Jamal. If you'll just keep going up and stop. Thanks. So our strategic framework is really kind of organized in 4 main buckets. Those 4 main buckets are our students, our people, our organization, and our community. So I just went with those, I listed them, within those buckets. This is also how it's organized on the strategic framework, which is readily available to anybody on the MNPS website. It's on our homepage. And of course, it has its own dedicated page as well. So if you would like to refer to this as a constituent or whomever, you are more than welcome to. So these are, as you can see, the cited, I'm pointing to it like you can see me, but you can see that these are the cited pieces of the strategic framework. And then I put the last names, thank you, Jamal. I put the last names of who listed these specific pieces or KPIs behind them. So these are the ones that we decided are being discussed the most. These were the trends within the evaluations. Not every board member cited inside of their evaluation. So if you don't see your name and you need to add that, you are of course welcome to do so. But we'll have to of course resend this out. This information, as you can see, is hopefully there, and as I mentioned in that past email, to help guide that upcoming fall board retreat on what we think about our strategic framework and help us kind of guide that conversation. That was a huge amount of work for the board in 2017. And so I don't want to recreate the wheel. I want us to work smarter. So I want us to kind of first discuss, here are the first cited strategic framework that we all agreed through the evaluation plan of what we think we need to really focus on first. Not that the other things are not important, but that these were the ones that were discussed the most often or maybe highlighted by board members. Once again, I'm not going to read these all to you, but it's obviously readily available to you. So these are the our students. If you'll go up and show the our people, Jamal. Perfect. So these were the ones for our people, and it does stop at 3.5, which is on the next page. I maybe should have put them all on one page for this presentation, and I apologize. But you'll see that there were some trends there where more than one board member might have mentioned that KPI. And if you'll scroll up again to the next page, page 5, those are the last 2 that were mentioned under people. And then we have our organization. Let's see if that can all fit on one screen. Boom, it does. Perfect. So these were all that were listed or cited as well within our evaluations. there were not as many overlaps here except for 1.5 as in the other buckets. And then lastly, we have our community. That's it. And then these were pieces of the strategic framework and key performance indicators that were suggested or mentioned and cited within the evaluations here. As you can see, there are some, like 1.3, that were pretty popular. I know that y'all have this in front of you. Jamal is being an excellent help to me, showing it on your screen as well. But do we have any questions about this from any board members or Dr. Battle of what we think about these trends, or if there's something maybe you want to add to these trends?
Ms. Elrod?
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Cooper Walker.
Just want to say thanks publicly for all the work you did on this. I love the, citations and drawing us back to the original KPIs. I think that really grounds the conversation. And I'm really thankful that Dr. Battle took the time to also go through this with us. So we have, some shared consensus on some things, and we can also see sort of what the wishes of the larger group are. Anyway, I just think this is a valuable process. I appreciate you doing it.
Thanks. I appreciate that. I guess that brings me to a point maybe I should have made earlier, once again, for context for everyone. You will notice that these pieces of the strategic framework, and then if you decide to go through each individual board member's evaluation, and of course also my directions that were provided at the beginning of this packet and presentation, we decided to go over the entire tenure of Dr. Battle and not focus on purely when she became permanent director, as once again, that was when she went through the tornado and COVID-19. And we didn't feel like it was fair, or I should say maybe I did not feel like it was fair for her to only focus on those two crises, as we have so much more going on within our schools. And she was doing work towards those other things that we focus on. And so I wanted to make sure that we had those documented, not only according to our strategic framework, but just so we can continue that work as we continue to manage both our responses to the tornado and COVID-19. Okay. Well, I do not have a plan to show each individual person's evaluation, except for maybe Dr. Battle's, because Dr. Battle is our only personnel. As I said, we don't do programs and personnel. We do policies and procedures, but the only personnel we really have is Dr. Adrian Battle, who I know is here along with some chiefs and some staff, in case we have any questions in regards to her evaluation and our responses to it. So, Jamal, can you scroll up and see if that's there for us? Perfect. Thank you. And we'll just leave this here in case someone has a specific call out that they need to make in response to this or get the answers that they're seeking. Anybody? While you think about it, I would like to. Oh, no. Sorry, Ms. Player Pears.
I don't have a response, but then this is more just a generic term. So sorry if this is a little bit out of order. But it's just, I know for me, especially since I came on in November, I know this was a kind of interesting process for me, just because the bulk of the time, dealing with the tornado, as you said, dealing with COVID, that took up so much time and energy to really focus on the other part, where I think it was a traditional evaluation. We can go in depth. That's the kind of way I form mine's in more of an outline format instead of a narrative format, at least for me, and given my short time on the board. That was a big issue. Just the bulk of our time, rightfully so, was dealing with a natural disaster and I guess a medical natural disaster. at the same time. And I think other times we would be able to give a little more, or at least I personally would give a little more focus on the specific KPIs. But given the time that we were given, and also the director search that happened in the middle of it, and the onboarding, just to note that this is kind of a very unusual timing and process of it, just by the sheer natural disasters and unprecedented times that we've had. But hopefully we'll be able to get back on track now that we've had a more routine and more system to give a more thorough feedback as we move forward. So I know it's a unique time to consider this and kind of how we do, at least from my standpoint in my tenure on the board. So I just kind of want to put that on the record of that was something unique for me, that trying to figure out. And I was like, well, the bulk of the energy and time, I think we were really trying to get into a good rhythm and pace, and really to addressing the KPI, particularly after the winter retreat that we had, and the method that we were going, and what was discussed at the retreat, and really kind of examining how the KPIs are being approached and the strategies behind it and the solutions. We're kind of seeing all steam ahead, and then the world upended getting March 10th in more ways than one, back to back. And so I just wanted to put that on the record, just for Dr. Battle in a formal and in a public manner of this unique circumstances of having director of school search, her term as interim, then her term as permanent director. And then that happened, and within literally days, weeks, the plan that we came in coming out of the retreat made this evaluation a very unique and unprecedented circumstance.
Thank you. That is so true. I guess on that note, we should also mention that historically we would have done this. Once again, historical means in comparison to last year. We would have done the formative evaluation in the winter and called it a winter formative evaluation. But the board decided, due to the director search going on at that time, that it was not a good idea. And so we postponed it to this summer.
Ms. Elrod?
Yes, ma'am.
This is Jill Spearing.
Yes,
I understood you to say that you were going to share all of the evaluations with the entire board. Are you still going to do that?
We can, sure, if you would like to. The first in the packet is Dr. Battles, as you see on your screen. And then after that, we have each individual evaluation. If you would like us to if you think we should move on, Ms. Spearing, particularly as vice chair, we can move on. I don't see anybody asking any questions, nor have I don't see anything in the chat box.
And Ms. Elrod, I'm not necessarily meaning now. I mean a hard copy or electronic copy, so that we can have that to read at our leisure.
That is in your packet that everybody received on Friday from Cameo.
Okay, I don't think I got it.
Well, then I will make sure that you do receive it.
Okay, thank you so much.
Of course, of course. So within, it's a larger packet. So within the first page is what you just saw at the beginning of the session. This is, of course, for everybody. It's the agenda. Then after that, it's historical context that we all saw. I mean, it's exactly what Jamal has. And then the email, then Dr. Battles, then the citations that we just went through, then Dr. Battles' evaluation, and then it's each person's full and entire evaluation for transparency based upon district number. So it goes in numerical order. And if you did not receive it, please let me know. It sounds like we're going to need to do an update on it anyways, but I want to make sure that everybody had the ability to be prepared. Okay, well, Jamal, will you scroll up? So that's good. In case anybody needs to continue reading. Okay. I will say that there was a trend among Dr. Battles' evaluation and board members' evaluations in regards to HR, we'll say practices and changes, and communications practices and changes. So even if you did not mention it inside of your evaluation, you are still welcome to mention it now, as Dr. Battle came prepared for those questions. So Jamal, you can scroll down to, I think it's the next page, page 7. You'll keep scrolling. Yep. There we go. Perfect. Sorry, it's page 8. That's perfect. So this was the other question that we asked of everyone, including Dr. Battle. So. Okay. Well, I would like to say that I'm reading the room. We are all, as we all know, in a virtual room together. And it appears that there are no questions. I don't see any in the chat box. No one has alerted me through text message that they can't get through or anything like that. So on that note, I will say for follow-up to this, oh, sorry, Ms. Poopa Walker.
I just wanted to say, and maybe I hopefully speak for the board, that I know this is a formative evaluation to give her feedback on next steps, but I do want to thank Dr. Battle for a tremendous job today and for being the leader we need in this moment. And just want to thank her from the bottom of my heart. I think a lot of people are grateful to her. And so that's it.
Thank you. I appreciate her doing the evaluation in the midst of a lot of other priorities within MNPS, as she did it right before our timeline was right before school opening or school start. Okay, well, it sounds like for some follow-up and some feedback, just to make sure that I'm doing the correct thing, I want to say out loud what I will be doing for follow-up and feedback is I will check on Ms. Froeg's evaluation and add it to this packet that will be sent again as it's currently seen or was seen or received, except for hers will be added to it. And I will go back through on the citations and see if any need to be added there as well. Beyond that, it will then be sent out again by Cameo to everybody as a PDF. My hope is sending it as one large document allows us to better kind of have everything organized so it's more easily able to be referenced, whether that be in the fall retreat or just in the future for future access and transparency purposes. If there are no, I guess there's no other further, so if there's no further questions, this meeting is adjourned. And I'll see y'all at 5.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information about this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.